This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. A no-nonsense warning to those found culpable in the Foul Key Haitian boating tragedy. Director of Immigration Clarence Russell has made it clear that those responsible will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. You see, the incident prompted a high-level meeting in Abaco on Monday that brought together Abaco's administrator, immigration officials, and senior government and private personnel representing the police and defense forces, fire and rescue, public health, environmental health services, the Red Cross, the Bahamas National Trust, and the Abaco Christian Council. During that meeting, it was confirmed that the official death toll is actually 27, with a total of 18 people being rescued. We've also been told that officials spotted an additional body but were unable to retrieve it due to sharks. Now, as we reported on Monday, the migrants were all aboard a sloop that overturned near Foul Key, 6 nautical miles off Abaco early Saturday morning. First Secretary from the Embassy of the Republic of Haiti was expected to meet today with the survivors of Saturday's boating tragedy, this after being on the ground in Abaco with Acting Coroner Janine Weish Gomez. Relatives of the survivors of Saturday's early morning accident on Soldier Road are no doubt praying for the best. This as the shock and horror of already losing one of the passengers set in. Police say it was just before 2 a.m. Saturday when 4 occupants of a gray Nissan Primera were traveling south on Soldier Road near Spencer Corner when the driver lost control of the vehicle and crashed into a utility pole. All 4 of the people who were seriously injured were extricated from the vehicle and taken to hospital. However, on Sunday, the female passenger succumbed to her injuries. Officials say the others are in serious to critical condition. Investigations are ongoing. Meantime, police have taken in 2 people in connection with an armed robbery here in the capital. From all reports, the victim was walking south on the Eastern Paradise Island Bridge when 3 men pulled up in a vehicle, forced him inside, and robbed him of cash and an iPhone. We're told the men then drove the man to an ATM and forced him to withdraw cash before putting him out the vehicle and speeding off. A short time later, officers from the Tourism Police Unit searched a home and vehicle on Abundant Life Road and found the victim's cell phone and a small amount of cash. A woman and man were taken into custody. We can also tell you that police arrested 2 men after finding a .40 Austria pistol and 13 rounds of ammunition in a home on Great Britain Street, Flamingo Gardens on Monday. Authorities now have the paperwork to back up plans to establish a parole system at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. A memorandum of understanding has been signed with Correctional Services Canada, clearing the way for this to happen, along with the training of parole officers later this year.
Already, collaborative exchanges between CSC and BDOCs have resulted in the development of an automated system to ensure that our application of resources in the treatment of inmates are effective and efficient, and the extensive training of case management staff for assessments of new inmates.
And according to National Security Minister Marvin Dames, additional strides are being made to further drive the BDC's corrections process.
The Inter-American Development Bank, through its Citizen Security and Justice Program, conducted a training seminar for the representatives of all of the branches of law enforcement. During the seminar, the parole legislation, as expressed in the 2016 Conditional Release of Offenders Bill, was analyzed and recommendations for adjustments were made. CSJP is currently funding research on parole and recidivism through the University of the Bahamas.
Canada Correctional Services Commissioner Ann Kelly says the next steps in the partnership include training to address those issues relating to sex offenders. Central Bank Governor John Roll giving his first quarterly economic briefing, the data release showing economic developments for the period up to December 2018. Touting the economic growth, Mr. Roll says while growth was at a modest pace in December, it overall improved for 2018. Now, although such strengthening enabled higher employment, as statisticians revealed recently, those numbers were not impressive enough to reduce the unemployment rate.
This is an important indicator in assessing the health of the lending environment and prospects around the speed of non-performing loans reduction. Before turning to the monetary and financial sector development, a brief comment on oil prices and the fiscal developments is necessary. International fuel prices rose through most of 2018, but closed lower in December. Whether this has also moderated the year-long uptrend in the fuel surcharge is not yet known, as the electricity price data is not yet available for December. However,
the governor also revealed that both the fuel surcharge and 2018's increase in value-added tax led to an elevated consumer price inflation through September compared with the same period in 2017.
In public finances, the reduction in the fiscal deficit was evident during the first half of the fiscal year. However, the relative switch to domestic financing through the banking system and at least one public entity's swapping of foreign currency debt into local currency has caused a larger seasonal decline in bank liquidity than normal during the final month of the year, and similarly for the calendar period. External reserves followed the same pattern, ending both December and 2018 lower, near $1.2 billion.
The central bank, however, anticipated the outcome as the public sector largely drew down on liquidity created in 2017 through external borrowing, which occurred.
External reserves, however, remained at healthy levels and continued to experience a net positive contribution from the private sector in 2018. Beyond the expansion in credit to the public sector, commercial bank lending to the private sector contracted again in 2018, even though at a moderated pace. This was across mortgages, consumer lending, and commercial loans.
A check on sports and weather up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.